Well, hello there, and welcome to Talking Leeds. This Wednesday, the 9th of October, it's just gone 7 p.m., and I am joined by the one and only Mr. George, Bearded Peacock Brook. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Aaron, or good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or good night to anybody listening. Hope everybody's all right. How are you, Aaron, this evening?
How am I? I'm very good, thank you. I'm not too bad, not too bad.
Good. You're
Uh,
sporting the new away kit, or the newish away
yes,
kit, the season's
yes,
away kit.
yeah.
Obviously played in it, didn't we, on Friday? Seems a while ago, but I'm sure we'll get into what fell out from that game as we go on. And
Yeah,
good evening to Jimbo as well, who's
he's
jumped in
here.
quickly with a comment.
He is. Good evening, Jimbo. Good evening, everybody. And don't, as you say, George, wherever you're listening to this as well, because it is recorded on your podcast feed and it is out there for you to listen to back again if you wish. So I think we should jump into it, George, with Ilan Meslier and the disaster at the Stadium of Light on Friday night. George, you were very, very, very vocal the other day on our WhatsApp group. You were extremely. I've never seen you as angry. Now a little bit of time has digested, George. Are you a little bit more settled? Have you calmed down a little bit now?
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope so, Aaron, but it's not. It's not Halloween, but we had some kind of fright, didn't we? On Friday, it was a horrible error, I must admit, and it was one of them which I was furious. I don't know what other people's reactions were, but I was absolutely fuming. And the aftermath of it, the 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes afterwards, I couldn't.
You got worse. It was worse.
I was just so angry, man. I was just so angry. Like, it was one of them sitting there watching it, and you think, oh, great, he's catched the ball. Oh, shit, what's he done? And it was just like, oh, my God. Like, it was because it was so late in the game. If that was like the first time, any other time of the game, like the last sort of 10 minutes, you'd be like, oh, my gosh, what has he done? But at least it's time to rectify it or whatever. It was literally why I was so angry was because it was the last second of the match. We'd have won the game if he just fell on the ball like 100 times out of 100 he would have done. And we'd have won the match. And the thing is, Aaron, he actually played really well. But particularly the second half, I've never seen him so confident with catching things like corners and things. They had so many of them. And he was just like, yeah, thank you, just catching it like he'd done it all his life, which we know that he doesn't do, Aaron. He doesn't like catching the ball. He likes to punch the bloody thing more often than not. And so it gets to the last minute. What on earth was it? I mean, I'm calm now talking about it. These things happen, don't they, eventually? But aftermath of it, when he's laughing and joking with, Regis Labrise. I know he's a former manager at Lorient, but it was literally like a minute or two earlier. He'd cost us the match, and then he's laughing and joking with him. It just seemed a little bit in bad taste, really.
I'm glad you've got that off your chest, George. You can tell you've been sat waiting for that to get off your chest all week.
Still angry about it. What is it now? 5 days later, nearly 5 days later, it's just not. It was just like watching it, and you're like, bloody hell! If he'd not done that, we would have come away with 3 points. And it was just like I said, any other time in the game, Aaron. Yeah, it's annoying, but it would. We have time to rectify it. We were playing well. I felt like we were a good value for it. I thought Sunderland didn't have a lot of the ball. Didn't have a lot of threat, but they had a lot of the ball. But I thought we were fairly comfortable.
Okay, so is for the records, it's actually gone down as a Junior Firpo own goal, as that howler. And I must admit, George, my first reaction was when I watched that on Friday evening, I actually just laughed because it was just like I've never seen any. it was freakish. You know, I know Halloween's in a couple of weeks, but that for me was absolutely freakish. And I don't think he could even try and replicate that again. What do you think the issue was, George? Because we've got to try and dissect this a little bit for the people who watch and listen to this show. Was it the divot? Because I've seen it slowed down, and was a divot there, which kind of the ball went on top and stopped the putters. I don't know. What do you think the issue was? Did you have Meslier not watching, not concentrating? Was the light? Was somebody there with a laser pen? What do you think? What it was which caused that howler to happen?
Well, I mean, Clive said, I've seen goalkeepers make bad mistakes before, and it looks like something was on the pitch to change the direction of the ball. I think there was something on the pitch. There was something. He was. There was a photo of him afterwards picking up like a little black band or whatever it was. And it might have been something that came off the pitch, like you said, a divot. Maybe there was a sprinkler underneath it or something. But I think that's what happened. That's what happened. He hit that. A bit of a beach ball moment. I'm sure you remember it at the other end of the stadium, like all them years ago, with Pepe Reina in goal for Liverpool, and Darren Bent kicked it against the balloon or whatever, and then he bounced in. But it was similar to this. No, look, I think there's no excuses for me. Literally, there's no excuses. It was. I think it was a little bit of him not concentrating. I think he almost thought he got the ball before he actually got it, and he probably just lapsed in concentration a little bit and hit the divot, and he's not reacted quick enough. And somehow, I don't know how he's managed to get it all the way through his leg.
You could see what he was going to do there, because he was literally. You could tell exactly what he was going to do. He was going to grab the ball and fall to the floor.
And we'd have won the game.
And it'd have been game over. Generally, though, George, it's probably the biggest howler in our lifetime that we've seen in a Leeds United colours, haven't we? And we've had some shocking goalkeepers in the past.
Oh yeah, I mean, reel them off. There have been so many bad ones, but
this is up there for me. The worst.
It's there. It's the worst thing that I've ever seen. It's the worst mistake I've ever seen, I think, from a Leeds United goalkeeper. But especially, we've seen some howlers from on outfield players, but the goalkeeper, I've never seen anything like that where the Leeds United goalkeeper is concerned, and it was just so annoying. I literally was watching it. You thought, "Yep, he's got the ball," and what the hell has he done? And you almost took your eyes off the telly because you just thought he's going to fall in it and we're going to win the game. And I wasn't watching it on Sky Sports, but I looked at it afterwards, the Sky Sports commentary, and it's quite funny because the commentator, he says, "Oh, what has he done? What has he done?"
Goodman. What has he done?
I mean, it's just it was a freak accident, and what really not annoyed me, but what really did a little bit annoy me was the fact that Sunderland were going absolutely mental, and they didn't even win the game. And
in all fairness, though, George, it's these type of incidents are extremely rare in football, and I think if it was the other way around, we'd be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, maybe
we'd be going, "Oh, you're shit."
Yeah,
we'd
probably
be loving it as well. We'd absolutely be loving it.
Yeah, and if it is for your team, you sort of lap it up, don't you?
Yeah.
But they'd already left. To be fair, a lot of them, which I think has been under the microscope a little bit.
It's just disappointing. But in terms of Meslier, though, George, and I don't want to bash the kid because he's not a bad keeper, George, is he, Meslier? Let's be honest.
Well, I think a lot of people.
He is. When you look at his career at Leeds United, I think back to last season with the Leicester game at the King Power, where that fingertip save and Leeds were like, "He's the Iceman," all that sort of stuff. And you think, yeah, this is great. And there've been many times where I think Meslier has actually done more good than bad for us. I don't think he's deserved a lot of stick, because ultimately that's the beauty of sport, that these things happen. Yes, we're on the receiving end of it this time, and we just got to move on from it, and quickly, don't we?
Yeah, I think unfortunately for him, really, Aaron, there's a 2 week break where obviously we don't play this weekend. We could have done it for his sake for a game yesterday, or a midweek game, just to get it out of his system and get back to. Because and Clive says it as well. Elan has made some key saves this season, and he
Oh yeah,
has even this
he
season. He's
has.
saved it, and he does that. But the errors we know as a goalkeeper. I mean, Jimbo says he once made an error in a sixth form. Actually, never got picked for Leeds. But look, these things do happen, like you said, Aaron, and the keeper's errors are always magnified.
They are, because
he's cost us the game. You can't get away from that.
you're right.
And that's
You're right.
it's
You're right,
so
John.
magnified. Yeah,
You are, because he's the only player in that position on the pitch. When
Yeah.
I've been a goalkeeper myself. If 5-a-side, 6-a-side, and the goalkeeping position is one of the hardest things in football when something goes wrong. If it's a defensive error, there's normally 2 or 3 players to blame for it. A striking error is 1 or 2. This is the problem, which he's been getting a lot of grief from Leeds United fans, which I think has been undeserved, because mistakes happen. He's younger. He's part of the leadership team, remember, George, here at Leeds, and that will have hurt him really, really much. It will have hurt him.
Yeah, it will have done, and I'm sure the whole night he would be thinking about the whole day after, even probably the whole day after that, he'd be thinking about it. And
he's probably still thinking about it now.
He probably is. That's what I mean. He could have done with another game like yesterday, like a midweek championship match, just to get his confidence back and just see that he is a good goalkeeper. I don't mind Meslier, actually, in all honesty. I know.
Wow!
I know it's red. I mean, I wasn't happy about it. But
show you this.
No, you don't need.
Carry on.
No, you don't need to. Because you've got to remember, Aaron, you've got to remember that it was immediately after the game. And I think immediately after the game doesn't really count as a sort of in-depth feeling or whatever. It isn't good fun to because you're like, oh my God. I mean, you know what I mean?
I think if you would like to hear some of the quotes from from George from Friday evening, if I get one person who says yes in the comments, I will quote some.
I don't think
many.
You should.
I'll have to bleep them out.
Those bleep sounds right. I think
the many quotes of George I have, which I'm prepared to share live on the internet, and those who are listening again. If you want to hear a snippet of how George reacted to Melior's howler, please just say yes in the comments, and I will read it.
I would be one of most of the fan base after that happened on Friday night. You've got to remember it was an immediate reaction, but I mean, like you said, looked at it a few days later, calmed down, and you think, actually, look, he's all right. He's not the best goalkeeper we've had, no, by any means, but he's okay. He makes some good saves, and I think he is like I said, immediately after a mistake like that, you're going to be angry. You're going to be calling him out a little bit, but ultimately, like I said, he is part of the leadership group. He is here to stay as Meslier. I don't think he'll be going anywhere. Not after that, anyway. That's not a really good advert for how good a goalkeeper he is. So you know what I mean. It's one of them things, Aaron. But like I said, goalkeeper is a difficult position to play. I played it myself in, like I said, 5-a-side, whatever games, and I've never played an 11-a-side in a goalkeeper position. My brother actually loved to play goalkeeper, and he played it for quite a few times in there, and he seemed to enjoy it. He even once was in goal one time, and he went up for a penalty, and he blasted it over the bar, and then. That's it. So there you go. So like I said, the goalkeeper mistakes are highlighted, but ultimately, I think he's a I think he's a decent goalkeeper. And Firpo, I think it was Jimbo said it earlier on up. He loved the way Firpo, and Firpo was absolutely fierce. Firpo was all of us, really, wasn't he? Or the majority of us. He was certainly me on Friday night. I was absolutely furious. And
You were extremely furious.
And it went down, like you said, mate, as an own goal for him. And he would have got the winning goal. He was seconds away from getting the winning goal. And when the heck will he get that opportunity again? I don't think he will. I don't think he's had it since he's been at Leeds. So you can understand. And he was, the majority of us on Friday night. I'd have done the same if I was on the pitch. I'd have just stormed off the pitch. And then later on in the dressing room, when everybody's calmed down, I'd have said to Elan, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But as an outfield player, Arron, you've put all that effort in. Like I said, we'd actually played pretty well, mate, I thought, to contain them, we were effective going forward when we got the ball. You would have been absolutely furious with him.
Oh, 100%. You would have done, absolutely. You would be. But ultimately, we can't change what's happened. We've got to move on from it. We've got to move on from it quick. I think the international break, I disagree with what you said there. I think the international break is coming at the right time for Leeds United. After that, and listen, we didn't lose the game. We could have easily lost the game, but we didn't. We've got to now think about, moving on from this and quickly. That's the key thing. We've got to move on and quickly. We can't dwell on it for much longer.
No, of course they can't. Like you said, they've got to move on quick. There's a big game in a couple of weeks against Sheffield United. They're looking good. So, we've got to just get it out of system and
and ultimately, George, with 3 points off the top position.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not a million miles off here. We're not a million miles off.
No, it's within touching distance. But again, if you interact with Sunderland fans on social media after the game, I seen one guy saying something about I don't know what he was saying, but I said, look, you needed an outlandish error from the goalkeeper to salvage a point. I'd pipe down if I were you. And he came back with mind the gap. I thought, mind the gap, what, 3 points? That's not much. So you know what I mean. Look, they will be happy. They could have won the game. They had, for me, a lot of possession, Arron, but there were nothing special with it. They didn't know how to use the ball properly, and we were effective with it.
Can I just quote you the what I put on our on the WhatsApp for us? I actually said it was a great. This is before the Meslier. Great performance, this, and tactically spot on. Well done, Daniel. Credit where credit is due. Calm, composed, and confident. Leeds been very average, but got the points, and then the howler went in. That was my kind of summary of that, because I thought tactically was spot on. I think Daniel Farke had done well. And again, George, and this is the last kind of point I want to make on Meslier, because we've got other things to discuss. Ultimately, he's made a mistake. He's owned up. He's probably said sorry to his teammates. He'll go again. And hopefully, this is the only howler we will see for many, many years to come.
Yeah, hopefully. And like you said, he's got it out of the system. He's probably apologised countless times to the team, actually. And he didn't say nothing to the fans, did he, on social media or whatever, but he probably felt like he would get a lot of abuse, which unfortunately he probably would have done. So, yeah, he did right to stay quiet, really. Get it out of his system, have a break. He's not more often than not in the French under 21 setup anymore, is he really? So he'll probably be able to go away on holiday or whatever. Just get it out of your system, mate. Come back to Ellen Road on Friday, a week on Friday, and just do your best. And everybody in there, you will be in there, I presume, Arron. Everybody hopefully just gets behind him. And I saw a lot of jokes saying, "Yeah, well, let's get behind him." Well, if we'd have all been behind him, on Friday night, that goal wouldn't have gone in. So everybody are behind him on the line. So look, we all make mistakes. We've all made mistakes at work, Arron. as well.
You do.
So
we're only human. We're only human. That's
exactly.
It.
And it did in his defence look like it did take a little bit of a bobble and change the direction when he was sleeping really. Let's not be honest, he should have got the ball. We should have won that match, but it is what it is. Like you said, we didn't lose the game. Still a point away from home, and Sunderland is a little bit of a dangerous team to face away from home. So we got the point. We're still unbeaten in away from home. I think we're unbeaten in 4 games now. I know it's the last 2 have been a draw. So
we can kick on now. It's positives. You've got to think of positives here.
I think after this Sheffield United game, which is going to be difficult, and I'd be extremely disappointed if we lost the game, actually, Aaron, because that would mean 2 home losses to 2 teams that are probably going to be up and around it come the end of the season. It would be disappointing in the opening 10 games. So I think we need to win this one at Sheffield.
Yeah, we do, and I think we've got another kind of 5 or 6 games, haven't we, before the next international break. I was on about this with Jerry the other day on the match review, which was a great listen, by the way. Jerry summed it all quite well for us. It's another international break coming up in November. I think this period of 6 games, try and get as many points as we can, and then after the November internationals, we can really kick on now because we're coming up to January. We've got the Christmas period. That's always a tricky time for us historically in Leeds. We've got to try and get as many points as we can, and then hopefully the season can kick on after that, because I'm sick of the internationals already. I'm sick to bloody death of it, George. It's a waste of time.
I know.
Waste of time.
I know England play tomorrow, don't they? But
who cares?
No. And we literally we've got less. Well, it's probably good actually that we've got less players going across, but because they're all injured, you know what I mean? But like the likes of Ethan Ampadu, I mean, Manor Sullivan has suddenly made a quick recovery, and he's in the Israeli team for their upcoming games. So will we see him against Sheffield United? Maybe. It's a favourable run of games, Aaron. Past the Sheffield United match, I think there's 6 or 7 really winnable matches where you think actually we probably should be winning most of those games. He is, Clive. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's going. He's in the Israeli side.
Anyway, I just want to touch on what Jimbo says there. He says if the striker makes a mistake, the ball goes over the bar with play on. Keepers have much more scrutiny when it comes to mistakes, which we said earlier. And Clive said that as well. Jimbo positions 1 and 9, and there's the most pressure. I think all in all, I think we've forgiven Ilan, haven't we, George? We'll move on.
Yeah, look, these things happen. Like I said, I was extremely angry, like a lot of people would have been after the game.
I could still, at the minute when somebody puts in the comments that they want to hear a quote from George from the WhatsApp group, I will. I've got it ready to go here. I will read them out. Just maybe a snippet. If you want a sneak snippet, I might give one here. I can't read that. I can read this. Leave him in effing Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, that's something nice.
Leave him in Sunderland.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't read that. This is exactly why Leeds aren't going anywhere. I hate this club, George. Do you still hate Leeds United?
No, I mean, I love Leeds United. But, at that particular time, I know Luke says it.
And then this one goes, get out now. Capital letters for now.
It's no good. But look, literally, that was the majority of people, wasn't it? At the end of the game on Friday, people were angry, and you do, the club puts you through the ringer, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, I love Leeds United. You cannot. Everybody does. So, everybody in here, everybody listening. So, but I'm sure even everybody at some point has said that, what I said.
Oh, yes, there's no doubt. There were many Leeds United fans up and down the country or around the world doing exactly the same thing. There's no doubt.
Exactly. I think the majority of people were cursing the club, cursing the keeper, at the end of that game. So, I mean, Clive, what are you plated up by any chance? What are you plated up?
He'll be back. He'll be back and tell us. But we're not going to bash Meslier anymore. All is forgiven, Ilan. Make sure you make some world-class saves, get your confidence up, get 3 points against Sheffield United, and all will be well.
The thing is, Arron, if he doesn't and he makes another mistake or something, people are just going to kill him, aren't they, in the ground? Not obviously. They're going to be wanting.
We don't tolerate any type of violence. We don't.
No, absolutely not. I mean, people will be very, very annoyed, to put it mildly. Exactly. It's what I said, Clive, isn't it? Folk make mistakes in their jobs all the time. Yeah,
and that's what makes sport. It really does. It is. Yes, it hurts now, but come the end of the season, we might be laughing about it when we're up in the Premier League. It doesn't matter.
But Clive is back now, isn't he? But yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, and it's like I thought afterwards. We might laugh about it at the end of the season when we go up. If we go up, we'll all laugh about it, won't we? And that'll be a funny mistake. It'll be a funny error. Like you said, it hurts now. It's frustrating now. But ultimately, if we get promoted at the end of the season, Arron, everyone's going to have a laugh about it because at the end of the day, it'd be funny. It'd be funny in a bit.
Absolutely.
But Clive, I was just saying you're back. I was just interested. You said you were plating up some food. It was interesting in what you were having. They're trying to guess what you might have.
Let's guess what Clive's having for his tea. We can make this a bit of a feature. I think Clive. I'll say, well, let's have two guesses, George. I think Clive is having. I think he's a bit of. I don't know. This has gone completely off what I wanted to talk about. I think Clive is having chili con carne with rice. What do you think he's having?
Carne. I think he's having fish fingers and chips
with beans.
Yeah, maybe with beans. Oh, yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe.
Clive, please do come back and tell us what you're having, and if you want to guess in the comments what Clive is having for his tea, comment it now, and we'll give you a shout out.
There you go. I mean, but yeah, he makes a good point here. Remember the poorly charged? Yeah, obviously, very sadly died. I think did he recently? Not long after he went to the training ground and to the game.
There you go. He's having chicken and rice. Is Clive? Sorry, chicken and rice.
Oh yeah, I suppose you're closer.
Is it a chicken curry or is it chicken tikka? What is with the rice? What is with the chicken?
Yeah, because I suppose plain chicken. Yeah, maybe have a bit. I don't know, mint sauce, not with rice, but.
Well, you need some form of sauce with the rice. You don't need to have just plain chicken.
It would just be dry.
That's what you give to the dog when they're not very well.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Or jollof rice. He could have jollof rice, spicy rice.
Could do.
The point I was making was. Obviously, Ilan. He says he was very good with that young boy, wasn't he? That, like I said, obviously, really sadly passed away recently. Mm-hmm. And he was really good with him, and I think he like Clive said, he was his favourite player. And they're all really good with that young lad. I saw that video of them at the training.
Yeah, and that's
so he's obviously he's a good man. Really, I think he's a good lad. But
and the key thing is, George, what we need to remember is with Leeds United fans, when they put on the shirt, we support them. We don't bash them.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean. You just get behind them, don't you? Everybody gets frustrated, at lots of results and things. But at the end of the day. And I've noticed this more so that, I'm of the age of the players or even older than some of the players now. Yeah. The boys are just not, I know they're earning a lot of money, but they're just lads, aren't they, really? And a lot of them are young lads. I think Elan's 24 or something like that. So you've got to just say, the young lads, let them off, you know what I mean? And we support the club. But that meal sounds... good, that creamy chicken. Yeah, that sounds nice.
There you go. George, I want to move on to some other kind of breaking news which kind of came today. In the news of Jurgen Klopp is going to be joining the head of footballing operations or some form of title for Red Bull. Obviously, he's going to be overseeing strategic direction and transfer policies and coaching. He's going to be the go-to god within the Red Bull kind of model for all the clubs around the world. And obviously Leeds have a minority stake. Red Bull have a minority stake in there. Do you think we'll see Jurgen Klopp coming to the Championship and seeing what Daniel Park's doing at Leeds?
Potentially, mate. I mean, like you said, Red Bull have a small stake in Leeds. I don't know if it's more so the teams like we know RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg, RB Bragantino. I think there's one more, isn't there? But RB New York. So I think it's more focused on the actual teams that are fully
Red Bull.
Yeah, fully Red Bull. But because we've got a small stake, they own a small stake in us. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will be notified of Leeds United and it'll be on his radar what we're doing. So maybe, I mean, like we've discussed it a few times, Arron, on here about Red Bull and their sort of ownership and what it'll look like in the future, whether we get fully taken over by Red Bull like RB Bragantino or whatever, then obviously he becomes a big part. It's a strange move for me, this, because obviously he's had a long time on the managerial, and he was a long time with Liverpool, a long time with Borussia Dortmund, and Mainz, or was it Metz or Mainz? I think it was Mainz, wasn't it, beforehand? He's had a long career in football management. To go into like a technical director role seems a little bit strange. Very much Dennis Wise-esque. I remember when he went from manager of Leeds to like some kind of technical football director.
Football director once at Newcastle.
At Newcastle.
And then he just left. I don't know what he's doing now. Did he go on the jungle, Dennis Wise?
Yes, Dennis Wise went on I'm a Celebrity, didn't he? I don't know what he's doing now. I mean, everybody hated Dennis Wise, but ultimately he got us promoted from. No, he didn't actually. He nearly did. He should have done. It should have done, because we should have been up that first year in League One. But yeah, I mean, he'll be on a heck of a lot of money, won't he, Jurgen, now? But it's an interesting move, bit of a strange one for me. But yeah, he might do. We might see him at Ellen Road at some stage, just overseeing it and being like guests of Parag or whatever. But it's. No, because I don't know. It's a really, really odd thing for me.
He has got, though, hasn't he, within his contract, he has got this kind of buyout clause for one, and the job that he really wants is the national Germany national team manager. That's the only clause which we think is in this kind of deal with Red Bull.
Oh, what did you say? He can only go to the national team?
No, he's got a buyout clause.
Right.
So for example, if Leeds wanted, well, not Leeds, let's say, I don't know, Liverpool, because he's been there before, they want him back as the manager. They'd have to pay a buyout clause to Red Bull to get him to talk.
Oh, right.
But he's also got a clause in that contract that if he the Germany national team come calling for him, he's got the option to go and take it. So
right, I see.
But yeah, it's like what Clive says. They might want him as the Germany manager, not necessarily now, but in the next couple of years. And it's just this deal for Jurgen Klopp is a big deal. Is it a 5-year deal? I think. Off the top of my head, I haven't got it in front of me.
But I don't know exactly what that entails, Aaron. What the heck does that actually entail?
I think from what I've read online, it's going to be a big deal with overseeing Red Bull football operations. It's going to be looking at the different kind of elements as well.
I don't know how he's qualified to do that. You know what I mean? But who knows? It's I mean, obviously he's well paid. He'll be on thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds a week, won't he? Probably, but it's a good job if you can get it. I just wonder if that means him going to America and going to Brazil and
Yeah, I'd expect him to be involved, in the Red Bull kind of teams in New York or Germany or whatever, Austria. He's going to be looking at all that. It's just going to have oversight. I think it's going to be like like what you said, football technical director is just giving advice, that strategic direction in the transfer market. I don't think he's going to be starting scouting and things like that. He'll probably have, a team working for him. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I just hope that it does get involved with Leeds somehow. And then you would think that with the investment Red Bull have made into Leeds United, that they would want, to tap into that expertise.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Leeds will be on Jurgen's radar, won't they? With them having a small stake of ownership in. I don't think they
what
do
is
have.
The percentage for?
I can't remember.
I don't know. Is it like 40% or something that they've got in Leeds? I'm sure Clive will jump in the comments and tell us.
I don't think it's as much as that, but
I thought it was. It's a sizable chunk.
Is it? Well,
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, depends on how many clubs have Red Bull. I think there's 5 clubs, Clive, with Red Bull. There's RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg, obviously, Red Bull New York, and then there's RB Bragantino in Brazil. I think that there's 4 then.
Okay, you keep talking, and I'll.
But, yes, Timber, the Wi-Fi. No problems this evening with the Wi-Fi. It's all good.
Yeah, so the title Jurgen's got is Global Head of Soccer at Red Bull. That's
right.
The
so that could mean anything, couldn't it, really? But yeah, it's a massive sponsorship deal. I mean, even for Leeds, this is obviously a big deal. What really, really annoys me, Aaron, I don't know about you, but I know we're owned in part by Red Bull and stuff, but it just annoys me when I'm watching, what is it, LUTV or whatever. Why do they have to have cans of Red Bull open on the bloody desk? And even the night games, like kicking off at this time, 7:45, why are they drinking Red Bull at that time of day? You know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell? Always pushing it down people's throats. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's break this down a little bit, George. Red Bull, they sponsor Leeds United. I think, when you watch like the World Cup, you have the press conference. I think you referred to the press conferences out here. You see LUTV, there's a can of Red Bull next to Daniel Farr.
I mean, Clive says
it's a desk it's a can on there. It's product placement. It's simple.
I know, but it's annoying. It's annoying.
Because they can have a crate of it for me. It doesn't make me want to go and bloody buy a can of Red Bull. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, do you like Red Bull, Aaron?
Yeah, it's just not bad. When was the last time I had a can of Red Bull? It was probably when I got one for free.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Minute was there. That's probably the last time I had a can of Red Bull. But yeah, he says Jimbo says you should do a Red Bull fueled show. It could go on. Yeah, it could do. Yeah, and Red Bull's not bad. When you're tired, or with a double vodka, or what Jimbo says there, it's not bad. But am I craving it? Do I need it? No, I can perfectly cope without it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't like Red Bull, to be fair. Like the taste of it. And it's so expensive as well. I don't understand why it's so expensive.
I bet you're a monster, man, George. I bet you're like a kind of monster.
You know what? You've caught me out, and I do kind of like Monster.
There you go.
Not like religiously buying.
So, George, if we were sponsored by Monster, and there was a can of Monster next to Daniel Farr while he's speaking to the press, would you be annoyed then?
Probably, but probably not as much, actually, because I don't know. I kind of like Monster.
It's because you don't like Red Bull.
I don't. No, it's not. I suppose I don't like really the taste of it. I don't really know. They've got different flavors, haven't they?
You've got to remember, George, with Red Bull, that they've invested quite a lot of money into the club. That they are the main sponsors of Leeds. It's the same with bloody like Astonish. They they sponsor Leeds, and I think they had a little bit of stuff on the LUTV stuff and Flamingo. Every time I'm at bloody Leeds United, the Flamingo bloody land advert comes on the big screen, and you think, well, I'm not going to Flamingo land for a while, but it's there. It's just advertising. It's just, you know what I mean? I noticed the other day, bloody Flamingo Land sponsor every bloody Yorkshire football team.
Did he really?
Yeah, they've got. So we used to have like the
it was last season.
City now have it. What?
Last season was it was last season's shirt sleeve sponsor. Was it like boxes on that one there? Box Life or something? Is it? Yeah, obviously they were our main shirt sponsor last year. Now they've gone to the sleeve. Flamingo Land were on the sleeve, weren't they, that season? And I always picked when I've watched it at the end of the game or at half time or something. It always comes over Flamingo Land and meet Peter Rabbit and all this, and there's Peter Rabbit there. And, yeah, Litland gets really excited.
That's the beauty of advertising, and that is why these drinks companies. I think Red Bull have got deals with Newcastle Everton as well, haven't they? I think they've got some form of
Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull have. They don't own it. I think they've sponsored.
Do they?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. I thought Red Bull was the. I thought that were the only ones that had.
No, I think they've just got some. They class themselves as energy drinks partners or something.
All right, because we used to have Boost as well. Boosters.
That's right.
As a sponsor as well. They were like the official energy drink supplier or something, and now obviously
I think we've still got a deal with Cadbury, have Leeds United. It was on. They have, yeah.
Yes.
Listening to the radio, and it said. I think Cadbury was on, and one of the adverts came on, and it said you could win a Premier League experience, or you could have a football team experience with Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and then at the end it goes, and Leeds, or Leeds. And you just so we probably signed a big deal with Cadbury back in the day when we were in the Premier League, and they're still kind of going along with it. But it was funny because you could win a match. No, that's what it was. It was a match day experience at your favourite top football clubs at Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, and then Liverpool, or Leeds.
Yeah, I think if you weren't a Leeds fan, you'd be mortified probably if you got Leeds over.
It's just tagged on at the end, and you just think, we're still at the club. It says here, Hisense TVs is still lead sponsor along with Astonish. Astonish they sponsor the North Stand now, and Hisense is still big on the East Stand as well. So the big companies.
Astonish had sponsored the training gear, didn't they, a few years ago? I think we're still in the Prem. I don't know who's sponsoring it. No, I can't remember.
It's Unibet who do it.
Unibet. Does Unibet still do it?
Yeah, well, they changed it, I think so. Yeah, they're big on it, Unibet. You can still see all the pictures and things. Yeah, they do it. But that's on the training wear. It's because in the next couple of years, all gambling committees are not going to be able to be sponsored.
Yeah, no, which is good.
It is good, but they're going for the training wear. That's the way around it. Go for the training wear.
They should be banned off all things, in my opinion. But there you go. I mean, Red Bull is probably not too much better, is it? But there you go.
It's not on the kids' shirts though, isn't Red Bull? It's just on the
what's on the kids' shirts? Just blank, is it?
Blank, yeah, just blank.
That's better because they used to put another sponsor on the kids' shirts, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I just want to put the club has to honour their contracts for sponsors, don't they? I think, they do. You're right. And here is Clive. Look at this one. Imagine if Red Bull funded the signings of Solomon Ramazani. Red Bull gives you wingers rather than just wings. That's
they did fund them probably. So yeah.
blank on the kids' shirt, says Clive as well. Jimbo says he does like the Red Bull soap derby thing. Have you seen that, John? That's mental. Have you seen that before?
No, Red Bull soap
boxes. Where it's like, so we used to call them where I'm from. We used to call them bogies. Did you make a bogey when you were younger?
What is that? The bit where you go bogeys, and then you run out of the room.
Well,
Bogeys.
a lot of places around the country will call this something completely different. So this is where you make like a little go-kart out of wheels and wood, and you'd put it together, and we'd call it a bogey.
No, I don't know about that. All I know, about is that game bogeys.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. But if you were going to make it, I don't know what people in the comments will.
Bogeys.
No, somebody will call it something like a go-kart or something.
I think I do know what you mean, actually.
Well, what did you call it as a child? That's what I need to know.
I never bought. I don't know.
Did you never make
Nothing.
one?
I never made one. I never heard of it. I just seen it in pictures. Probably. I've never heard of it. Really, I've never done it myself. So I've heard of it, but I've never done
that is pretty much what the Red Bull soapbox thing is. It's people who've made some form of vehicle out of wheels and dress up silly, and they have to get down like a hill quickly.
Oh, like these are big events.
Yeah, they're massive. They're massive around the world. People travel, people try to dress up as like, I don't know, like a minion or something, and they have to try and, get past the finish line without it falling out of it or
I've
like jumps and things.
Yeah, I've seen this. I never did it myself or didn't have a name for it, but I have seen the adverts of Red Bull. Red Bull is everywhere, isn't it? Really, you can't really get away from Red Bull. It's all over the place, and particularly on the shirts. I mean, it's stand up and it's on your shirt, isn't it?
Yes, it is there.
But yeah, it looks all right. Looks well on that shirt. Looks well on the other two shirts as well. I think there's no issue in my mind about it, and it's all right. But you've got to notice the Red Bull advert. Even on the social media posts and stuff, there's a little bit of Red Bull. Next time you look at a sort of a full-time post or something like that on the Leeds United Instagram account, for example,
they have Red Bull in the corner. That's fine.
There's a little man holding up Red Bull.
Yeah, it's like that little corner like that. Red Bull. Who cares?
Just
good. Do more. Do it more.
Do it less.
Then do it more. We can charge them more. That's the way, George. That's how it should be.
Well, look. I mean, like you said, eventually maybe it is going to be, taking the whole over. I mean, I know our mate Alfie. He said if they do that, he's completely out. So
I think they'd be very foolish to do that. If I'm being honest,
I think it might happen.
Oh, well, to be seen.
I think it might happen eventually, Aaron, because I think they will just go. And historically, I think this is what's happened with the other clubs that they've actually fully taken over now, as they've gradually knocked the other ownership out and just then fully owned it. Started off initially, and then just went eventually fully owning the clubs. So. I think it might happen. Whether we be called, I know they can't be called Red Bull Leeds or something like that, or they can't tamper with the badge because in England they have a certain thing about it, don't they? So you can't do anything about that. But I think they might take eventual full control.
We will see with that one, won't we, George? It's all to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jimbo makes a good point here, Aaron. We should get the show sponsored by our favourite beverages. I mean,
well, go on then, George. What's your favourite beverage?
Well, what are we talking? What are we talking about?
Anything. What's your tipple?
Well, is it a hot drink or is it a cold drink? Or
well, I said cold drink. Going with Red Bull, that's cold. You don't have that warm. What would you say your beverage of choice is?
What? I like Iron Brew,
Iron Brew. It gives you Iron Brew.
I like Iron Brew. I like I actually do like Boost, but not like the energy drink one, the juice.
Lucozade.
Yeah, it's like cordial. Lucozade, different types of Lucozade. I do like Lucozade.
I like Diet Coke. Diet Coke's nice.
Diet Coke. What's the difference between Diet Coke and normal Coke.
There's no sugar in it. Well, there is sugar, but there's not sugar. It's the sugar intake, I think. I don't know. I just prefer Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. What about Coca-Cola? Because that's obviously come under Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I like the full fat Coke in glass bottles on holiday. That's nice.
Oh, right.
There you go. That's the top tip. You can used to be able to get it from Costco. Like a big crate of it, and it was brilliant. But Coke Zero, I'm not a fan of that either. If I'm being honest, I'd rather have the full.
Well, Coke Zero is surely the same as Diet Coke, is it not?
It is, but it's it's just got no sugar in it. You just got I like Yorkshire tea though, like Clive says there.
No,
if you're going to have a tea bag, it has to be Yorkshire tea. It can't be anything else for me, I'm afraid. Yorkshire Gold. Now that is where you're talking. Woo,
I don't like. No, I don't like tea. Don't have tea. Don't like it. Well, if I was to have either tea or coffee, I'd probably have coffee.
Oh yes, I'm an avid coffee drinker.
Really? How many cups of coffee would you have a day?
Maybe 5, 6.
But that's not too bad, is it? Really?
Yeah. I do drink a lot of coffee.
I mean, I would prefer hot chocolate or herbal teas or something.
I do like a Horlicks now and then. Now, listen, we have completely gone off track again, as we always do. Now we're talking about beverages.
Well, to be fair, it was a comment from Jimbo, wasn't it? And it did kind of have relevance to we're talking about Red Bull and the Red Bull ownership, so it did kind of just go off from there. It usually does. People who are listening to this show, I don't think they'd expect anything else but it to go at some stage off the rail in some way.
Yeah, poor old Emmett here has been saying that he wants to, sell Meslier. He's listening to us talk about beverages, Yorkshire tea and Yorkshire Gold.
We do have to acknowledge Emmett's comments. He did say earlier on he did want Meslier dropped. I think. Did you say Emmett?
Yeah, he says we should not have got rid of Klaassen. It should be Meslier. We should have got rid of Cairns ago, I think he's saying that.
I mean, did you hear about Klaassen, Emma? And did you hear about Klaassen, Arron?
No, please tell us.
He got, I think it was just after he signed. He signed for a Polish First Division side. I think he has since rocked up at a different club under Uwe Rosler. Can
you remember him at Leeds? Heavy metal football was coming, and my God, it was awful.
It was definitely not any good heavy metal, was it? But
it was more of his football was more like, who can I compare it to? It was more like McFly football compared to Black Sabbath or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. It was a bit wet, wasn't it? But Klaassen has rocked up. I can't remember which team he is manager now of. Bailey Peacock Farrell also played, I think, last season with this team. I think it's a Danish team, but I can't be completely sure. But he got binned off by the Polish side because he went to McDonald's and they didn't like it, so they cancelled his contract. So he just signed him as well, and he thought, "Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll go and have
a Big Mac and a Diet Coke."
Yeah, exactly. I've got my new club. I'll go to McDonald's to celebrate, and they obviously found out, and they didn't like it, so they binned him off. He's Alfie's mate, isn't he, as well?
Yes, Alfie actually knows him.
Yeah, I wonder if he's shared a McDonald's with him, but. You do wonder that's it. Ahus. Is that how you spell it? Ahus. Is that how you say it? Yeah, I knew it. I couldn't remember. I knew it in my mind which one it was, but I didn't know the exact name for it. I mean, Jimbo's been a bit naughty again now. And bringing the conversation back to beverages, but I mean, McDonald's isn't the place you go for beverages, is it? I mean, what's your favourite McDonald's meal? Is what you might ask. Emma's going to steal from Brian. I think that's a little bit of a of a thing because I don't think he'd probably drop now. He was hounded out by Sunderland, wasn't he, Steele? But they like him at Brighton, and he's part of a bit of a rotation now, and he started quite a lot of games last season, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Klaassen incredibly won every single game he played in a Leeds shirt, and he didn't concede a goal, which was absolutely amazing. I mean, Kelleher. I don't think Kelleher's still at Liverpool. I'm pretty sure he is. He's a good goalie. I think if we were to get into the Premier League, like I said, my brother is a Liverpool fan, and he rates Kelleher quite highly. And he can't understand why he's still at Liverpool because he thinks he could go and get Premier League football regularly elsewhere. So I think if we were to go up, potentially he might be one to have a look at. But all right, I don't know. I thought he was still at Liverpool actually, but he's an international goalkeeper in his first choice.
Yeah, you know, he's we can see. I'll have a word with Jerry. He'll know about him.
He's a good goalie.
Yeah, George. There's no football for Leeds United this weekend, but there is some football. We have the International Nations League. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to review it. I don't want to preview it. I just want a match prediction for England against the mighty Euro 2004 European champions Greece. Do you have a prediction for that one?
Prediction is I won't watch it and might not even check the score.
I actually detest competition.
I think
it's the worst in the world. It really
England will beat Greece, surely. But you
score
know,
prediction.
Does anybody care? No.
Jimbo's put 2-0.
I'll go 3-0.
3-0 against
Harry
the
Kane will probably score.
champions.
We'll probably score 2 penalties or something. And
Okay.
yeah, but no, I'm not bothered. I don't know when they play next, but
And then they
after
play Finland, I think, in midweek.
Next midweek, is it?
Yeah, I think it's a week today or something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe. To be honest, I couldn't care.
I completely don't care either because I actually do think that this Nations League thing is an absolute waste of everybody's time. Yes, you do win something at the end of it if you win the bloody thing, but it's just what would have been better is you say, okay, you're having a break and you're not having to travel all the way around the world to do this. I do think the Nations League thing, and it hasn't really taken off. It's not, it's not really it's a great thing that we want to win. Nobody's really bothered about it. I do think it will die its death within the next couple of years. I do think the players will revolt and go, it's a waste of our time, and I hope they do it quicker.
Well, yeah, because there's a chance of injuries and things like this, isn't there, as well?
The best thing they can do is just knock it on the head and go, yeah, we tried it and it failed.
Well, they're just glorified friendlies, aren't they, really? So it doesn't really matter. And I think other countries further afield from Europe are playing in World Cup qualifiers, Aaron. So they're obviously of importance.
Absolutely, no. The qualification periods for your major tournaments are absolutely imperative. You've got to do that. Nobody's got a God-given right to be playing there. You've got to earn the right to play in a World Cup or a European Championship. But playing in the Nations League, going for promotion to League A, is just absolute nonsense. And I don't actually care.
It's silly. But I think maybe Tanaka might be in the World Cup qualifiers for Japan. I know he was last time. But again, they have them in other continents as well. I know Firpo, he was playing last time against in the Nations League, like a CONCACAF Nations League. So I don't know. Again, I don't know who they're playing, but he's in their squad again. Yeah. So it's good that he's getting regular football, but well, they always have what I think they have 4 slots in the season, don't they, for international breaks? But and Clive's going on about the Leeds women. I mean, who are they playing, Clive, on Sunday?
I don't know, but I heard on the radio that they're doing really, really well.
Well, that's what That's what he's kind of said, isn't it, Kath
Good,
Smith?
good luck to the women. Yes, Kath Smith. Yeah, good luck to the Leeds United women. We hope we will see them playing in the Women's Super League in the not so distant future. That would be brilliant if they did.
Yeah, well, yeah, would, but I think they've got a long way to go before
A
they get there.
long way to go. They've got
They're
many
playing teams
parades to get
like, well, no disrespect, but I think they're playing teams like Brighouse and Ossett Town and stuff like this. So
to.
I don't think it's a good quality of.
They need to get to the championship of women's football before they can start dreaming of the Super League. George, I think we will leave that there. Thank you for all the comments, guys, from all of you who have been watching us live on YouTube. You can listen again for those who have been commenting on YouTube if you like, or you can join. Listen to this, George. You want a number of how many people have listened to our podcast? Another quick update. The numbers wide. Well, we've smashed it. 3,500 downloads since we started this show. So the numbers continue to grow. God knows why. We still can't quit his day job just yet. But the numbers continue. So please do continue to share us. Do, if you want to, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're always here. We do read every comment as well. So thank you to all those guys who get in contact with us. And we will see you on the next one next week at the same time, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Talking Leeds. We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one, everybody. Have a good one.